This is a story about a man who sold the Eiffel Tower. Once upon a time, in the enchanting city of Paris, a man named Victor Lustig hatched an audacious plan. He was a man of many faces, a master of deception and charm, and he knew that Parisians held a little secret. They weren't particularly fond of their beloved Eiffel Tower. At the time, the tower was considered an eyesore by many, a towering testament to industrial progress that clashed with the city's classical beauty. Lustig saw an opportunity in this discontent. And so, with a twinkle in his eye and a devilish grin, he set his plan into motion. Under the guise of a high-ranking government official, Monsieur Lustig arranged a meeting with some of Paris's most prominent scrap metal dealers. He regaled them with a tale of woe. The Eiffel Tower, he explained, was too costly to maintain and had become an embarrassment to the city. The government, he lamented, had no choice but to sell it for scrap. The scrap dealers, sensing a windfall, listened with bated breath as Lustig spun his tale. He peppered his story with inside information and authentic-sounding details, making it all but impossible to doubt his sincerity. To further bolster his credibility, Lustig arranged for the dealers to take a private tour of the tower, where they marveled at its intricate ironwork and pondered the fortune it would fetch as scrap. One dealer, André Poisson, was particularly captivated by the opportunity. He imagined the tower melting down in his furnaces, the iron recast into 1,000 smaller forms, and the profits that would flow like molten metal. Lustig saw the gleam in Poisson's eye and knew he had found his mark. As the other dealers hesitated, Lustig took Poisson aside and whispered conspiratorially. He confided that, as a government official, he wasn't paid nearly enough for his work. He hinted that, should Poisson be willing to offer a little extra for the tower, he might be inclined to put in a good word with his superiors. Poisson, eager to secure the deal of a lifetime, readily agreed. He handed over a suitcase filled with cash, and Lustig disappeared into the night, chuckling to himself as he went. It wasn't until the next day, when Poisson excitedly attempted to assert his newfound ownership of the Eiffel Tower, that he realized he'd been had. The government officials he approached had never heard of Monsieur Lustig or the sale of the tower. Poisson's dreams of wealth and fame evaporated like morning mist in the Parisian sunlight. Yet, despite his anger and humiliation, Poisson chose not to report the crime. He feared the public ridicule that would surely follow if word of his gullibility got out. And so, Lustig's audacious con remained a secret. But Victor Lustig wasn't content to rest on his laurels. Like an irrepressible trickster, he couldn't resist the lure of the con. He attempted to sell the Eiffel Tower once more, but this time, fortune was not on his side. His would-be victim grew suspicious and alerted the police. Lustig, ever the cunning fox, slipped away before they could close in on him. He continued his life of deception and intrigue, a roguish figure who would forever be remembered for the time he sold the Eiffel Tower, leaving Parisians with a story they'd never forget. Once upon a time, in the city of love, Paris, a man named Victor Lustig pulled off one of the greatest cons in history. His audacity and cunning were beyond compare, and he managed to swindle a scrap metal dealer out of a small fortune by pretending to sell him the iconic Eiffel Tower. But what was even more astonishing was the fact that Lustig was able to pull off the con not once, but twice. It was a testament to his charm, his wit, and his ability to think on his feet. However, as thrilling as the story of Lustig's Eiffel Tower Con is, it's also a reminder of the darker side of human nature. It shows how easily we can be swayed by our desires and blinded by our greed. It's a cautionary tale that reminds us to be careful of the schemes and deceptions of those who would prey on our vulnerabilities. Yet, even in the face of such deception, there is a glimmer of hope. It comes in the form of André Poisson's decision not to report the crime. Despite his humiliation and shame, he chose to bear the burden of his own foolishness rather than seek revenge or retribution. In doing so, he showed us that even in our darkest moments, there is still room for compassion and forgiveness. In the end, Victor Lustig's Eiffel Tower Con stands as a testament to the power of human ingenuity, both for good and for ill. It's a story that reminds us to be vigilant and skeptical, but also to be open to the unexpected and the unknown. And who knows, perhaps one day, someone will come along and pull off a con just as audacious and daring as Lustig's, leaving us all with a story we'll never forget.